Assalamu alaikum. This is Mohammed Singh welcoming you all to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. A formal investigation begins into crimes committed by Awami League as party. A chief election commissioner seeks advice from election experts to ensure free, fair and impartial election. A future BNP will be the democratic and accountable political party, says BNP acting chairperson Tariq Rahman. Interim government decides to observe October 7 as Abrar Fahad killing and February 25 marking Pilkhana tragedy. Notunkuri divisional audition round underway to continue till 11th October. Gaza war steps into a third year, more than 67,000 killed in Israeli attacks in last 2 years. And England chasing target of 179 set by Bangladesh in ICC Women's One Day International World Cup in Guwahati. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. A formal investigation has begun into the crimes committed by the Awami League as a party. Chief Prosecutor Muhammad Tajul Islam told this while briefing the journalists at the International Crimes Tribunal this afternoon. In response to a journalist question, the Chief Prosecutor further said, if evidence of involvement by any other political party emerges during the investigation, legal action will also be taken against them. Regarding the recently amended gadget of the ICT Act, which includes new provision under the Law on Crimes Against Humanity, Chief Prosecutor Tajul Islam said, laws can be amended at any time according to the needs of the state, but such amendments will not affect the ongoing trials. Meanwhile, a cross-examination continued today for the third day of Chief Investigation Officer Mohammed Alamgir in the case against ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and 2 others who are accused of crimes against humanity during the July mass uprising. The cross-examination began in the morning before the 3-member judicial panel of the ICT-1 headed by Justice Muhammad Ghulam Murtaza Mojumdar. The other members of the tribunal are Justice Shofil Alam Mahmood and Justice Mohitul Haq Enam Chaudhary. A state defense lawyer, Amir Hussain, conducted the cross-examination of the 54th witness, Chief Investigator Muhammad Alamgir. In another development, testimony continued for the 8th day in the case filed over the burning of 6 bodies and 7 murders in Ashulia during the July uprising against former MP Saiful Islam and 15 others. The 3-member panel of the ICT-2, headed by Justice Nazrul Islam Chaudhary, conducted the proceedings. The other members are Judge Muhammad Manjurul Basid and Judge Nur Muhammad Shahriar. The testimonies of 2 witnesses were scheduled to be recorded today. Over the past 7 days, the tribunal has heard testimonies from 11 witnesses in this case. The Chief Election Commissioner CEC Nasruddin sought advice from election experts to ensure a free, fair and impartial election. He said in the past they had to work in favor of one side, but that situation has changed now. The CEC also warned that action will be taken against anyone found working in favor of any particular party. He made these remarks today during his opening speech at the dialogue with election experts held at the Election Commission building in the capital. The CEC said he wanted to learn about the potential challenges that might arise during the election process. Additionally, the Chief Election Commissioner sought feedback on any limitations the Election Commission might face in organizing a fair and transparent election. The Advisors Council Committee on Government Parties approved the import of non-Basmati rice, a decision primarily aimed at strengthening the country's food reserve despite current adequate domestic stock. A finance advisor, Dr. Salahuddin Ahmed, told his reporters after a committee meeting held this morning at the Secretariat. A finance advisor said the government would purchase 50,000 metric tons of non-Basmati rice from neighboring India as part of an effort to increase rice reserves. In addition to the rice import, the advisor also confirmed that a proposal to import 50,000 metric tons of wheat from the United States was also approved at the meeting. The Procurement Advisory Committee also approved the purchase of fertilizer, distribution and transmission of electricity, and the establishment of a data center. The Foreign Secretary level meeting between Bangladesh and Turkey was held today at the State Guest House Potma in the capital. The meeting was led by Foreign Secretary Asad Alum Siam on behalf of Bangladesh and by Deputy Foreign Minister Baris Akinci on behalf of Turkey. During the meeting, both sides discussed a wide range of issues of mutual interest, including the expansion of trade, investment, technology, education, and defense cooperation. High-level officials from both countries were present at the meeting. A BNP acting chairperson, Tariq Rahman, said the future BNP will be a democratic and accountable political party built on a strong foundation of people's participation. He made the remarks in an exclusive interview with BBC Bangla. The BNP acting chief has spoken on reforms, relations with India and various political issues during the interview. Nearly 2 decades later, this was Tariq Rahman's first appearance before any media outlet where he responded to a range of questions. Speaking about relations with India, Tariq Rahman clearly said that he would stand firmly for Bangladesh's rightful interest. He also reiterated his party's stance in favor of implementing reforms through an elected parliament. Today is the 6th martyrdom anniversary of Buet student Abrar Fahad. On this day in 2019, Abrar, a brilliant second-year student of the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, was brutally beaten to death by a group of Chhatrলীগ men at Sher-e-Bangla Hall. Marking the day, the Ministry of Cultural Affairs, Dakshu Chhatrodol, Islamic Chhatr Shibir, and several other organizations observed various programs throughout the day. Documentaries on Abrar Fahad were shown at all Shilpakala academies across the country. The Chief Advisor's office announced that October 7 and February 25 marking the Abrar Fahad and Pilkhana tragedies have been declared politically significant dates to be observed annually with special programs. The information was shared yesterday afternoon through the Chief Advisor's official Facebook page. Meanwhile, Dakshu declared October 7 as Anti-Hegemony Day. In a statement issued yesterday, Dakshu Vice President Sadiq called for nationwide observance of the day. Bangladesh television's oldest and most popular program, Notunkuri, continues to inspire children from every corner of the country to dream of a bright future. After the completion of the preliminary round, the divisional audition of Notunkuri are now underway. These auditions are being held simultaneously across all 8 divisions of the country and will continue till 11th October. From the divisional round, 960 contestants will advance to the final selection phase. This year's competition includes 9 categories: acting, recitation, storytelling, comedy, general and classical dance, patriotic and modern songs, Nazrul and Rabindra Sangeet, folk music and Hamnad. On the 4th day of the divisional round, the television center came alive early in the morning with the footsteps of participating children and their parents. Launched in 1976, Notunkuri was the first reality show style talent hunt in the subcontinent, discovering many renowned artists over the decades. After a long hiatus, the show has returned with its original name and theme song to continue its legacy of nurturing young talents. Now, international news. Today is October 7. 2 years ago, on this day, a terrible chapter was added to the history of the Middle East. The Palestinian resistance organization Hamas attacked Israel and killed about 1,200 people. Israel launched its genocide against Palestinians in Gaza following the attack. The scars of that attack and counterattack are still visible, as this terrible war has not ended even after 2 years. Israel continues to commit genocide in Palestine and ignoring international opinion. More than 67,000 people have been killed and at least 169,000 injured by the Israeli attacks in the last 24 months. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump is almost certain that a peace agreement with Gaza is possible. He also said that Hamas has already agreed to some very important issues with the Palestinian resistance movement. The US President said these things at a press conference in the Oval Office on Monday. Trump said, "For many years, many have failed to reach an agreement, but this time it is possible." Meanwhile, the first round of talks between Hamas and mediators on a ceasefire in Gaza ended in a positive atmosphere, which will continue today. The talks were held in the Egyptian city of Sharm el-Sheikh on Monday, initiated by Egypt, Qatar and the United States as mediators. However, no details were given about the progress of the talks on a possible agreement. Millions of people have taken to the streets in various European cities. They have demanded an end to the 2-year Israeli atrocity in Gaza and the rapid delivery of humanitarian aid. The largest protest took place in the Netherlands. About 250,000 people gathered in Amsterdam Museum Square and marched towards the city center. The crowd, holding Palestinian flags and dressed in red, put pressure on their government to take a tougher stance on Israel and stop supplying weapons. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghai said Iran has no plan to hold talks with the United States under the current circumstances. At a weekly press conference yesterday, Baghai said the recent action of the 3 European countries on the nuclear issue have completely changed the direction of the future talks. The behavior of the UK, France and Germany is not only irresponsible but also hinders the atmosphere for talks. He said these countries have acted as followers of Washington's political will rather than rational diplomatic calculation, which has undermined their credibility. As a result, the comments that future talks would follow a different path compared to the past. Baghai said Iran has reached a new framework through constructive dialogue with the International Atomic Energy Agency, which the agency is satisfied with. Although Europe initially welcomed the initiative, it later changed its position and withdrew its support. He said China and Russia are openly supporting Iran's position. A US-based scientist, John Clark, Michael DeFord, and John Martinez have won the 2025 Nobel Prize in Physics for experiments that reveal quantum physics in action, paving the way for the development of the next generation of digital technologies. 2 of this winning trio have linked to Google. A British-born Clark is a professor at the University of California, Berkeley in the United States. Devoret, born in France, is a professor at Yale University and the University of California, Santa Barbara, also in the United States, where Martinez is also a professor. Martinez, an American, headed Google's Quantum Artificial Intelligence Lab until 2020. At Google, Martinez was part of the research team who, in 2019, said that achieved quantum supremacy, in which a computer harnessing the properties of subatomic particles did a far better job of solving a problem than the world's most powerful supercomputer. Quantum mechanical behaviors are well studied at the level of the incredibly small atoms and subatomic particles, but are often seen as bizarre and intuitive compared with classical physics and its far-league scale. The Nobel winners carried out experiments in the mid-1980s with an electronic circuit built of superconductors and demonstrated that quantum mechanics could also influence everyday objects under certain conditions.